It's so cool. It's okay. We were at dance class at one point in time, and we always like film our dances so that we could go and practice. And my dance teacher's like, okay, it's filming. And then we did our whole dance, and she's just like, guys, I just hit 2 photos. There's 2 photos we did not film. And I was like, Danielle, what did you do? But it's okay, we have it now. But
put it in there, maybe. Workable, but
no, it's fine.
all right, here we are. Alice Duhon.
Yes, like the
Is that how you
Bulls player. Yeah,
Okay.
I guess. I don't know. Well, Grand Rapids is somewhat close to Chicago-ish. No, there's I guess a Bulls player called Chris Duhon. So
Okay.
that everybody was always like, "Are you related?" I was like, "I am not black. I am so far from not being black. I'm like extra white." So
How white is he?
You're so white, you pull cops over in the broad day and let them go with a warning.
I guess that's just privilege, but I don't know. You know what? He does wear a lot of hats, and honestly, to go after his hat that he's wearing right now would be low-hanging fruit, which is what a woman would call his balls if he were to ever see them.
I guess I did just do a roast battle with somebody who was like, "I'm verified 2% African American," and I'm like, "What the fuck?" Whatever, but.
So Alice Duhon.
Mm-hmm. There's a fair amount of places that still spell the last name wrong, but at this point, it's like family lore. It just kind of comes with me. I don't mind it.
Now, did you say you were from Chicago? Is it?
Originally from the Chicago area, yeah.
Okay.
Specifically Northwest Indiana.
Okay.
Griffith, assuming.
Is it stable too close? Or?
Oh, no, you're good. I'm one of those. They're like bisexual sitting weird. But yeah, no, I'm originally from the Chicago area, Griffith. Next to Gary. Went to school at Columbia College, Chicago.
Okay.
And then moved to Michigan it's almost, I think it's 9 years now. It's 10 next year, which is kind of crazy. But following a partner at the time. No longer have the partner, but I'm still in Michigan. So
Now, did you do comedy in Chicago, or you didn't do that until you got over here?
No, that's the funny thing with like comedy. Everybody's like, "Did you do comedy?" I'm like, "No, I only did theater," because that's what I went to school for. It was musical theater.
Okay.
And only did some theater in Chicago, and wasn't even really interested in doing comedy at the time so much. Although I'm kind of like looking back at it, if like I could redo it. They had this program that was literally the first year they started it, where half your schooling was at Second City and the other half of the schooling was at Columbia.
Oh.
So like, and you can get like basically a comedy degree, and I was like, oh, that sounds kind of interesting, but I didn't.
You never did that. So.
No,
But you got the theater degree.
Yep.
And then you've been doing any career stuff in that, or?
No, so like I did theater in Ypsi, which is where I live, it was probably about like 5 or 6 with Neighborhood Theater Group.
Okay.
And it was a lot of fun while it lasted, and then I reached a certain point where I was like, you know what, this isn't serving me anymore, and I just needed to go. So I did, and the pandemic happened, and then my life kind of turned upside down during the pandemic. And then right at the end of the pandemic, I was like watching just a lot of stand-up comedy, and I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. And then I was like, maybe I can do it sometime. I was like, maybe there's a class for it. And that's when Haley Zurich's class popped up.
Haley Zurich?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I didn't.
Yeah, she was in 51st Jokes as well. And then
Okay.
She does a lot of like, her class was specifically femdem queer voices that she wanted to like take a class, do whatever. So I was like, okay, I'll like try it, and then tried it, and then I didn't stop doing comedy. So like 2 years later, I'm like, oh shit, here I am. Okay.
Oh, you've only been 2 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know. It's only 2 years, but hustling.
But you've been in Denver doing stuff. You just got back from Rochester, New York.
Yeah.
Did a roast battle there and some other shows.
I took 4th place. I was very proud of myself.
I thought you were killing it. I seen some of the clips there, and you always have just good, quick comebacks, and just
Thank you.
seem so natural. Yeah. But I want to dig a little more into this
Sure.
like roast battling thing.
Yeah.
You said, because I don't know if we got into the Chicago one, because I know they do have like a league there.
They do, and I know Skippy and Floyd are, I believe, trying to at least the one that I was in Detroit, because I'll get back to that. So I signed up for the Rochester roast, and I was like, okay, I signed up for that one first, and then Detroit Roast Everybody was like contacting me and was like, hey, do you want to do this? At the time, that was like their first one. Found it was Skippy and Floyd running it, which are like wonderful roasters. Like,
yeah, she's a killer.
oh my god, yeah. I was gonna kill her for the next June one. She had to just bow out of a uncalled roast battle with Nick Kelly. And I was gonna face Skippy, and I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna live. Like, I was like, I don't know. I'm just going to admit defeat right now. And then she's like, I have to bow out, and I'm like, it's okay, but I will be right. She's like, if you want to run roast jokes by me, I was like, I will definitely take you up on that. But signed up for Rochester because I have a few friends out there still.
Okay.
One from high school and another from when I did theater. So they live out there, and I was like, and I heard a little bit of stuff where I'm like, okay, well, it's not, in my brain, I'm like, it's not me jumping directly to New York City, because that seems like way too much right now for me. Like, I'm not saying it's impossible, but like, you know, it's just a lot to be like, that's just a lot to do on its own. I'm like, but if I like go upwards, and then I can like meet some people, and then later on they've done stuff where it could be New York, so it could be just like a nice little connection in that way. And it's an easier drive it's only like a 6-hour drive.
Only 6 hours.
I know, it's very Midwest of me. I totally understand that, because I say the same thing to my brother and his husband, and his husband's from out west, and I was just like, how long of it is it a drive from Denver to Santa Fe? And he's like, only like 6 hours. And I was like, oh, that's not that bad. And he's like, I forget you guys Midwest all the time. Like, it's so ridiculous. And I was like, it's not bad. Like, we're going to get you. But it's not terrible. I feel like if it was like 8 hours, then that was probably like, okay, I'll fly. Because my thought process too was like, okay, I can drive to that one. I'll hit up Mike's. I'll see if I can hop on anything. It'll be, you know, just trying to branch out a little bit more, and if I have friends there too, so it's nice where I can kind of do the same thing. And then somebody on that roast battle was like, hey, do you want to be on a don't tell? And I was like, no, I guess I'm really going. So like, so I got on my first don't tell out there, so I was very, very excited and very proud. But
that's awesome.
But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. It was like a tiered roast battle thing, and it was also at the comedy club that they have over there too, and that's another reason why I was like, okay, I'll sign up for it, because it's at an actual club versus like no shade to breweries at all, but like there's a difference, you know.
You don't know if they're there for the comedy as opposed to, you know, comedy club, hey, we're here for comedy.
Exactly. So that's why I was like, okay, I'll do that too. And then I had a few friends that I know out there. There's a couple who like came out and like saw the roast battle and stuff too. And I was like, that's awesome. So it's nice to see some like actual familiar faces in the audience. And
you're building up a heck of a resume, so that's like,
well, thank you.
That's something to be proud of for
I'm
sure.
Trying. I know, like, and that's the other thing. I know they do the roast battle. I think they have a roast battle league out in Denver as well. Okay. And the thing is, like, my whole family now lives out in Colorado. Oh. So that's the only reason why I'm, like, basically, like, trying to build something up out there and not saying I skip over Chicago as much, because I do love Chicago, don't get me wrong. I will be back, but, like, I'm not... I feel like Denver and Chicago kind of have a similar league, because they basically take it a little bit more seriously, knowing that they can like make it somewhere. I feel like Chicago's still probably a little bit better, but I'm biased. I like that city. I'm not saying I don't like Denver. I'm just saying Denver's kind of a little bitch city in comparison to a lot of stuff. It's just
I'm not gonna have to edit this out.
No. I've said it before. I say it on like brand. I've said it before to like, because my brother and I have this conversation all the time, and I've had it with like Denver locals too, and I was just like, it's not my fault you guys have a little bitch city. Like, I've said it to their face. I'll gladly say it to their face. I have no problem with that at all.
You still have the right to edit anything, though. So.
Yeah, it's fine. No, it's okay. They know they're a little bitch city. It's not, they're not necessarily bad. It's just that you have to really dig for the connections in Denver, and I know one could be said you have to do that for like everything, but I feel like with the Midwest it's a little bit easier, simply because, you know, I think more so it's focused on the community, and I think that's the big thing with Denver being such a transplant city. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with being a transplant city. It's just harder, to build that community and to make those connections. That you have to like really put an effort. Again, it sounds like I'm shitting on them, but I was just I was like, wow, this sounds really mean. But I'm like, I really do love the comedians out there. They're wonderful. I just like, it's just you have to actually make the effort, and I just think there's some people who don't either know how to do that or are like too ego, like maybe I'm just ego driven where I'm like, I'm cooler because I'll be your friend, but like I don't know, maybe I'm just not full of shit, my eyes are brown, like maybe I just don't have that yet or something. Like I don't know, but or maybe I just like will respect you as a comedian or something off the bat, you know, for the most part.
I didn't realize, you know, the difference in each comedy community. It's like it's all different, and then the crowds are all different too. That what you can get away with or whatever, and but
because like no, I mean like. Denver still is a lot of fun. I've done, I haven't posted it yet, but I got on their new works at Comedy Works. So I was able to like get on their Comedy Works and do a set there, which is like a really big club and is nice. So I was like, and I didn't bomb. I was like, but at the same time, I was out of the 25 comedians, I was one of the 4 female comedians that were on there. And it's just, that gets a little bit wearing.
Now how does that?
They call it Menver for a reason.
How do you, the experience, have you ever had any problems per se in different areas more so, and then you don't have to name the areas, but you...
No. I mean, I'm definitely struggling with that in general, just being like a woman in comedy and having people reach out, because like some people reach out in DMs and they're very like, it's just some people pass, I guess the easier way to say it is some people pass the vibe check and other people do not. And there are certain people who like, there's only like a couple of people who I've spoke on where I'm like, they're making me like, it's not that I'm like, it's not where I'm like, cancel them. Like, it's not where I'm like, in that level. Just luckily, I haven't had that amount of time. Like, I haven't had that happen to me quite yet. But give it time. I'm a woman in comedy, which is like the worst thing to have to say out loud. So like, but it is what it is. But there's been a couple times where I'm like, hey, watch out for that person. They're doing some things where I'm like, it just doesn't pass the vibe check. Or I've had to, at least now that I have a decent amount of connections, where I'm like, what do you know about them? Am I like coming off of, I'm like, am I reading this correctly? Is it just an off day? Like, is my research correct? Like, there's a few things like that. Like, people who are just straight up creepy, like, we can tell, and women talk. Like, that was the whole big thing, too, is there's a whole bunch of people, like, there's one instance where I ended up being on a show with somebody who was not just, like, creepy, but, like, verified, inappropriately, like, sexually harassing people, inappropriately touching people, like, things like that, and then I had some... like, femme comics reached out to me and were like, yo, you gotta, like, I don't know what's going on. Either, like, I don't know what you're comfortable with, but, like, this is my experience. Maybe get him off the show. And so I reached out to the showrunner and I was like, hey, just so you know, like, and there was only, like, there's still, like, a bunch of guys on it, but there was still, like, at least 3 femme comics, and it's not like this producer doesn't. This producer's great in my book. But I reached out to the other like femme comics and I was like, hey, this is going on. Did this person also reach out to you? And just, like I said, we were talking. reached out to the producer, and the producer's like, okay, handled it, done.
Yeah.
And the thing was, it's just because they didn't know, because they're in a different scene.
Yeah.
So like they were in Ohio, and then I was in, Detroit, and they're just like, I just didn't know, because I don't go to, Detroit nearly as often anymore, because I'm running shows in Ohio, and I'm like, I don't blame you for like doing any of that. And I don't expect you to know, and I don't believe it was like with any sort of malintent. But later we had a conversation, and he was just like, is there anyone, he's like, I'm not saying anything that's, they're Republican or some shit, but like just anything off the bat that's like an automatic no, like, assault or something like that. And I was to my knowledge, no. But I was like, that's when I was just like, but it's sad, but give it time. I'm sure there might be, somebody, but I'm trying really hard for that not to happen. But that's just also because I feel like I'm a bitch. But you know what? If you get cold one so long enough, you might as well just be it and own up to it. And I'm here for that. And that's kind of like my life motto a little bit, but that's what it is.
You're kicking ass, so But
thank you.
Whatever it's called, that's all. I admire.
I don't know what the fuck it's called. The
confidence, I say, is one of the most key things in being on stage and just having that presence. Like, you ain't taking shit, especially like I said in the roast battle. So that's where you really, I said, take over, and your confidence is.
Thank you. No, I would love. Honestly, my best friend is the one who I feel like who I can attribute to like me trying to do more roast battles, because she turned 31. Hi, Leslie. She's my best friend, ride or die since like 6th grade. But she was like, I want a Comedy Central style roast battle for my 31st birthday. Okay. She's like, if you are nice to me, I will cry. So she's like, bring everything, and everybody has to do some stuff. And I was like, okay. And then we did her roast battle, and I was just like, I need to do more of these. These are too fun.
So that was the first one
that was the first one that I did. And then I did the signed up for Rochester's, but Detroit Roast Everybody was first, because I think Skippy and Floyd they're trying to build a league battle here, which was like a ton of fun. And it was also at Detroit House of Comedy, which happens to be like one of my favorite comedy venues.
Still haven't had a chance to get on that, but
definitely. I mean, if
it's harder for me to get over on that side.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then you only get like a couple minutes or 3 minutes.
It depends. I've been lucky enough to get 5 minutes. The times that I go, but I don't know how Kyle decides or.
Oh, is he the one?
Kyle Forsyth is the one who I believe
then
manages
Detroit,
that.
Who's the one that?
Is the Detroit House of Comedy. And then Detroit Roast Everybody, I believe, is Skippy and Floyd. But that was a lot of fun. But that's just, and I got to roast Andy McFarland, and
he's
good. I lost, which is fine. But I'm like still kind of like, oh, I feel like I should have won. But I'm like, I'll just do better next time.
Yeah. He's a real pro there too. But
no, he's great. He's funny.
He runs the open mic at the Plymouth one or
Roadhouse.
I haven't been able to.
It's
weird days or something always. And
it's Wednesdays, every other Wednesday. I do go when I can sometimes. It's it's Livonia. It's blue collar-y mixed with like still conservative, and then it's just like some. I have to watch out sometimes on that end, because like guys as old as my dad sometimes want to be creepy towards me, and I'm like, this is not fun. But sometimes I just go anyway, because I enjoy the chaos that it brings. Because I'm like, I enjoy watching the chaos, because I'm like, in my brain, I'm like, I want to know what that looks like on screen, but also I want to know what this side of the world is also thinking, and and also sometimes it could just be fun. So I feel like we're allowed to have that sometimes.
I hear you.
And I think there's something very fun about it too, where they're like waiting for something else, and I get on there telling my all my gay jokes, and I'm just like, suck it, I have the microphone now. Like, you know, there's just something about it that I think is really fun to be like, you're gonna have to listen to this.
I'm loving your Tesla jokes too. Yeah.
Thank you. I was a hater prior to Elon Musk coming out as a Nazi.
Yeah.
I always have been a hater, will always be a hater. I'm so frustrated because in Ann Arbor I would tell Tesla jokes before he kind of did the whole Nazi salute, and they were just like, I don't know, and then I would tell it after, and then they're like, ah, and I'm like, this is killing me. I was why did it take so long? Yeah. Which is frustrating, but it is what it is. I think that just kind of comes with working with automotive, because everybody in the automotive industry knew Tesla's shitty, but yet a lot of car companies want to be them. At least the car company that I previously worked at wanted to just...
Yeah, I seen you got laid off because of the tariffs and all that shit now, basically.
Yeah,
so I'm sorry to hear that.
It's okay. I would work for a supplier previously, and it's at the end of the day, it's not my dream job, but it was nice to have that kind of stability. Because I've had a lot of changes in the past couple of years. So I have it in my comedy, but my partner at the time, so basically I married a man and I left with an ex-wife, and that happened during the pandemic. I went through a divorce. I am now got the house in the divorce. I got the dog, and the dog lives with me. We do have split custody of the dog. We are those kind of gays, but we do have that. But it's a lot of change, and on top of all of that divorce change, I got the new job on top of it. So I had started it fresh into my divorce, and so I was finally trying to
build your own.
Build my own, and then they're we're not getting projects, and our hands are tied, and here you go. And they did try and make it right, but the only thing that really sucked is they cut my insurance off that day, and I was like, you couldn't have given me 2 weeks, please. But that's just America for you. The ironic thing, I think, is that it was a French company, and they cut me off on May 1st, which is everybody else's Labor Day.
Okay.
It's everybody else's Labor Day except for, America. Yeah. So I was there's some sort of irony in that, but we'll see.
I said hopefully it turns out to be the blessing that you were not even knowing you needed.
That's what everybody keeps saying, and that's what I am trying to reinforce with myself. I don't know if I'm quite there yet, but if I say it long enough, I'll manifest it, right?
It is.
So
that's what I'm saying.
So I guess I just get a break now, which is I don't know what to do with myself a little bit, because I'm just I'll try and be as productive as I can, but I don't want to be overproductive, and I know I should give myself time to heal. So there's just a lot going on now. But
let's talk into I didn't touch your writing process. I want to know do you have an actual paper book, phone, record it, or...
I do take some notes on my phone.
You do use a paper book?
I do, and I have it in my purse. It comes with me everywhere. Sometimes I'll think of a note on my phone, and I'll try and do a voice note.
Or you just come up with concepts, or
what? Concepts, and I like the idea of a lot of it on stage, trying to talk it out. And I think from my theater background, a lot of times too, I feel it's very collaborative, where I'd love to bounce ideas off of people, which is why one of my goals this year is to have more writing groups and writing sessions. So since I have the house, I was just okay, people local in the area, Sundays, come over. We'll write. We'll talk about stuff that we want to do, or stuff that we want to try, stuff that we're working on, concepts that we might want to try, and just kind of talk it out.
All right.
I do a lot of free writing, and I feel that's the one area with comedy that I feel I can try and work on the most.
What exactly is free writing?
Just no thoughts, just go.
Okay.
No thoughts, just go, and then I'll edit it back.
Okay.
Because I don't if I think about it too much, then I won't actually write. Is what I've started to notice, and that's not helpful when I'm you're doing comedy, you have to write.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I could yap all day, which is fine, which I feel like for the first year of doing comedy, I did so many open mics because I was just like, it was nice to find the jokes in there or seeing what landed where I'm like, oh, this is off the cuff, and then like keeping it back. Mm-hmm. One of the things early on is people were like, film all your sets. So I would like film all my sets and like see what landed previously and then maybe bring that back or like try and rework something like that in. And
so you go through your each set, or they record then too?
I try to. I feel like I'm bad at it, but
yeah, I'm bad too.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm bad at it. I'll try and do that, and it's just, it comes from all over the place, and I don't have one specific thing, but I would say the main portion is just like at least paper writing, because like a lot of times too is like I might know what jokes I want to do, and then I'll write them down before I go on stage. I won't necessarily take the book with me, but like unless it's the roast battle, but that's like I have to. I'm not memorizing every single one unless I've like.
But like I said, you were some of your best stuff. Not that anything was ever bad, but
no.
The most impressive stuff, at least, when you just come up off the cuff, responding to someone.
Yeah.
That's.
I overthink a lot of stuff too, because I was just like, I need to have this and that, and it's got to be funny. And they're just like, I think a lot of times I'm like, I'm thinking too much about it.
Okay, yeah.
Where like I forget that wordplay is funny as well, and I'm like, oh, I forget about that all the time. Or they're just like, you just have to be funny, and I'm like, but I'm not funny. Like I think that's just imposter syndrome sometimes though, because like there's a lot of times they're like, you just have to be funny. I'm like, but I don't find myself funny sometimes.
But you are funny, so
thank you.
You just gotta go with it.
Yeah, that's why I was just like, I can't overthink it. And then if I think that's why it's bad, because if I start to like get into the overthinking of it, then that's where I think like I'm gonna pull out RuPaul, the inner saboteur or whatever, like comes out, and it's just like, really gets down on yourself. How I wanted to present myself on stage, that's why I was like, I have to like pick out an outfit that I feel confident, because I'm like, in the back of my head, I'm like, even if they don't find me funny, at least they're gonna have something nice to look at on stage, that's exactly where it is. So I'm just, I don't know, I try, and it seems to be working for me, so I'm just gonna like keep doing that, because like I feel like with theater I do like it a lot, but I think that's where I necessarily went wrong, or I don't know if you can really like go wrong, but like with theater it was just I was always like so in my head, so having to be perfect, so having to do all those things. I just wouldn't allow myself to be imperfect in an audition room, because I already felt that way. And like there's so many other levels of like theater in that way too, where now I feel like if I were to come back, I would have way more confidence like going in to be able to like sing a song or act or produce in that way, like to be able to produce something in that way, I'd probably be fine. But like I had so much previous like audition anxiety, it was insane. It was insane.
Really?
Oh yeah, it was detrimental. And honestly, it was probably because I had undiagnosed anxiety, didn't realize it. And I'm sure there was some stuff in college where I was like, I think I was depressed but didn't realize it. So like, and it's just having that now in like the hindsight, kind of like looking back. But
you ever try improv? Do improv?
Not only in high school. I know a few of my friends are like, try and do improv. I'm like, I can only do one cult at a time. Like only one at a time.
It's a different cult.
I was like, improv is one of my dance teachers. She was like, I did improv with Pointless, like where it was in the area until whatever, and I was like, okay. And then like Yogi wanted to do. He was like, you can do improv. I'm like, I can't commit. Like I can't commit to that right now. It's too much.
Because the place you're performing tonight, the comedy project,
it is an improv.
They do improv. Are they doing any improv tonight too?
They do have some improv people coming, I believe. Yeah. Everybody in Chicago has probably taken an improv class at some point in time, and it's like
that's where improv started, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But like the theater in Chicago is very collaborative based. It's very ensemble based. It's very like grouped together and done like that. Whereas, like, I'm not saying that it's not like that in New York or LA, but that's what makes Chicago different. Why a lot of people do theater work in Chicago first and then they branch off into like LA or New York.
Definitely.
So, like, I think that's why even like when I do writing and stuff where I'm like, okay, let's all collaborate. Okay, let's do that. And I think that's why I like at least the Detroit scene, or at least the Michigan scene so much in general, is because people want to be collaborative. People want to do those things. People want to see what's best for everybody else. People want to like lift each other up. And then, you know, we can go on to do like mini tours for ourselves, or like, you know, bigger shows for ourselves. And we'll have that like support and background, because I've had discussions with other people out in specifically, I think it was specifically Colorado, where it's like it's a little bit harder simply because, you know, people aren't necessarily like that kind of as welcoming as they can be. I know Denver tends to be like similar-ish to Chicago. I think they also compare it to Austin a lot. I haven't been to Austin, so I don't know. But even just doing like, because I'll do Denver and then I'll do Colorado Springs, because like my family lives in Colorado Springs. There's, you know, I love it's just Colorado Springs is a much smaller, much more like intimate comedy community. So it's easier for me to like be included, because they are very excited to have like new people. I'm not saying Denver's not. Like I'm not saying Denver's not. It's just a little bit easier on that end of the spectrum and stuff too. But even one of the comedians down there, she was just like, yeah, I'm glad that I had the background in, you know, in Wisconsin, like doing stand-up for 7 years before I decided to like move out here and do comedy out here. And I was like, okay. So it's just, I guess, where you have that background, what you build on, and you know, if people like you, I guess. Like, I guess that's really all all it is. Which is,
or just, you know, being professional, reliable, and someone you can count on. You know, a lot of people, you know, flake out and aren't showing up to shows. So if you
which is insane to me, because like with theater, if you weren't, comedy's ruined my timing, not like comedic timing, but like timing as in like when shows start and shit, because like with theater, if you weren't 15 minutes early, you were late. And now I'm just like, I hope I get there at call time. Like, I'm like, I'll still let you know and make sure I'm on my way, or if I'm going to be like 5 minutes late or something. Like, that's just, you know, being reliable and everything. But just like comedy starting directly on time. Haven't heard of her. Not heard of her.
That's where I was like afraid to, you know, go sign up for a 7:30 show across, you know, the state. If you know, traffic happens, and if I was late, so I'm like, oh, I don't want to be late, but it's like I still try and be professional, but
and there's things like that make sense. That like it's where it's not where it's just like.
Now, do you try and, not to cut you off, but like, what is your process to try and get back in the gym, as they say? Do you try and have open mic a week, or, you know?
Oh my God, I should.
Or now you're not even doing open mics because you just got so many shows booked.
A couple months ago, where I was just like, I can't keep doing all the open mics because, well, it came down to my budgeting, because I was just like, I'm spending $20 like at an open mic on beer and shit, which like,
beer I was like, yes.
Like, it's not like it's bad, but it was just like I would have a couple of drinks and I was just like, where the fuck is all my money going? I can't do that. And then I was like, I can't do every single open mic just to come and hang. And it's not, and that was the thing too, it's just like I haven't sat down, and that's where I was like, what do I need to do? I need to sit down, I need to work on some stuff, and then I need to go and perform it. But I was just going to open mics to like improv, social action, like not even actually do anything, but just kind of talking to a mic for 5 minutes, which like sometimes like you get stuff out of that, but at the other times I was like, I was just in that kind of routine, and it got to a point where I was like, I need to reevaluate what exactly I'm doing. And I was talking to my friend Dan Turco, and he was just like, no one really tells you when you have to like stop, like when you have to stop, or when you have to like, you don't have to go to open mics anymore unless you want to go to an open mic or something like that. So that's kind of where I'm at. And now I'm just trying to focus on kind of, I think, like more clubby open mics sometimes too.
Yeah.
Which will be helpful. I am finally, I haven't been to one night stands yet, which I know is very surprising to like all of my other comedy friends that I talked to. It was like, I haven't done one night stands yet. And they're just like, really? And I'm like, well, yeah, between the job and like when they had it, and then it was also on a Wednesday, so I was like trying to get back out there, and it just like didn't work out with timing, and now it's just like, okay, I need to like.
Now, what's the deal with one night stands? I've heard of it, but I will read.
Did I say one night stands? I meant Mark Ridley's.
Oh, Mark. Okay.
Okay, sorry, I might have said one night stands. I did do a hosting gig at one night stands, which was wonderful. Okay. They're great. With Mark Ridley's, the first time I'm doing open mic at Mark Ridley's.
Okay, yeah.
Let me be clear. I might have said the other one, but because they were like, "How have you not been to Mark Ridley's yet?" And I'm like, I haven't, and I know it's like a staple, foundational comedy thing, and I was like, I haven't gotten around to it yet. Yeah. Like, there's some people out in Denver that love competitions, and I'm just like, I'm not about it. I would just rather you put me on a showcase.
Yeah.
But like, no, it'll be my first time doing
roast battle competition. I can see
that's different. That's different because I think with roast battles, for me, it gets me writing, and that's why I think I like roast battles a lot too, because it genuinely just gets me writing, and I feel like I know I'm not a mean person, but sometimes I do feel like really mean, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna write all these mean ass jokes.
Yeah.
And like,
gives you a chance to flex different skills, but I think it's more obvious who won. And you can't fool, who you're saying is lost, as opposed to like these competitions where they take the votes and follow this link, and then whoever has the most friends in a link, from some Google files, or the guy takes the votes out of the room and then comes back and it's like, come on, I don't know.
Yeah, it's not my it's not my thing. I've done them before. It's just not my thing.
But
so I don't know. I'm doing that. I'm gonna try and do Ann Arbor Showcase a little bit more because it's like close to me.
That's another one I still want to go, but
I get it. It's but I'm trying to do that kind of. I think I'm gravitating more towards doing that a little bit more, which is just a different vibe of stuff, or like it's just a different level, which doesn't it's just a different level, which is not I guess necessarily. I feel like it sounds mean because I feel like I'm no tea, no shade to like all the other like ones in the brewery, but I'm like, it's just different than like a brewery performing to barflies. But like, I think that it goes back to your point where you said it's like when people come to a club, they know they're coming for comedy.
Exactly.
So I think that's why I find myself gravitating towards that, because I want to see if I'm actually funny. And try and beat a little bit of that saboteur and that imposter syndrome that I have going on in my head that I actively fight every day.
Oh, geez, that's
I know it seems a little dark, but like, it's how comedy is kind of, I found it post divorce and post everything, so I feel like a lot of stuff is like very much intertwined with a lot of that too. But it's also given me a great way to be able to like find out who I am and my own voice, both like on stage and off.
Exactly.
Which is really nice.
Heck yeah. That's it's just totally addicting. I said I wish I would have been doing it sooner, but
I know. I like it's like intimidating and stuff too. So like I get it, because
have you ever thought about producing your own shows eventually then too?
Yeah, I do want to. There is some stuff in the works and something in Ipsy that we want to do, but it's very, very much in its infancy.
Sure.
At the moment, I would still love to do some shows, because I would love to get that aspect of it, because my major was musical theater. My minor was entertainment, like management, basically. So like I do Granted, it was more focused for like theater and stuff, but I do have a little bit of background in producing a show.
Heck yeah.
With that, so that was nice. And I did produce a show with one of Haley. I took Haley's or another one of her classes, which was like a production class, and we did do a fundraiser like improv comedy show for the Detroit Creativity Project, and we raised like, I think it was like $700. Our goal was like $500, and we raised $700. So,
heck yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez, yeah.
Yeah. So like, and I'm taking like her class, so I'm just like, oh, okay. Like it just, for me, I don't know if there's, I don't know if there was anything I necessarily learned that was new. I think it was a great opportunity for me to make all those different like connections and build in that, and that was very much a benefit of the class. But to me, I was just like doubting my own thing. I was like, no, Alice, you've done this. You just forgot who you were and could do it. And, you know, I could have a little bit more confidence in myself in that aspect too.
Okay,
Yeah. But life's a little bit chaotic right now, but like it is in the future. I would still love to produce some of that too, because
like I say, maybe
art's important.
Maybe that's why you had to get rid of that job, so then you gotta, boom, I gotta make some shit happen, put some shows on. And...
Yeah, that's what one of my friends said. It was just like, maybe we do the show in June. And I'm like, I guess. But we'll see. Comedy in the summer is always, you know, just a hard start too, I've noticed too. So
I thought it would be picking up in the summertime.
That's what I thought too.
But...
I never understood that, but because I think especially with like theater, that you know so many shows that they do like summer stock, and they like actors are like stocked for the summer because they do a whole bunch of different shows, and like there's always theater in the park or theater in this. So like I assumed it would be similar for comedy, but I guess that is not the case. So, but you never know.
Now, do you do like festivals? Have you been entered in any?
This is my first festival.
This is the first one tonight.
First one tonight is my first festival. When I apply to a festival, I have no intention of like, it's me being like, here's a $20 donation, and if you like me, please, you know, like I know I sent in a good clip, but like, this is nice. And I'll send you the link to, if you're ever out curious, my a couple of the comedian relationships I made. They're producing a show out in Manitou Springs. So I know a few people out in Michigan that like were applying and doing stuff like that. So and their submission fee's pretty reasonable, and it's
that's still going on to submit.
I believe so. Yes.
Okay. I'll put the link right up here.
I'll send the link, but they're wonderful. And they're ones where every time I visit, they're like, Alice is back in town. I'm like, you guys are so sweet. But they're always a fun time, and they're a fun hang as well. So
and you're entered in that one? Or?
I did enter into that one. I think they got a while until that closes. And then, what was it? Skankfest, I think I applied to. Too. I think it's in LA, or not LA, excuse me.
Is that the one?
Louisiana. I was thinking of, I think it's in New Orleans this year.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know. And then I have a friend who does also musical theater to Comedy Pipeline. He lived out in Kansas City for the longest time. Now he's living in New York and is doing that stuff. But he was like, you should apply for Fountain City out in Kansas City. So I applied for that one as well. The only one I know I'm kind of nervous of is, I'm like, if I get into the Colorado one, that is literally the last weekend where all of my family said that they were going to come visit me out in Michigan for the first time. So, which is very exciting, but I'm just like, actually, what if I just like left on that Saturday and like did a show over the weekend? What if because I'm at that point, I'm like, if I'm still unemployed at that point in time, I might as well just kind of like stay until like, you know, after Labor Day, because my mom wants to go to a Cubs game. She's a big Cubs fan.
Big Cubs fan, all right.
Loves baseball. Like, people think it's baseball from my dad. I'm like, nay, it's my mother.
Oh, it's your mother,
It's my mom. It's great. So we're gonna.
Is that where do you say you get your humor from your mom or dad? Then
my dad has that really dry, like, he introduced me to like Monty Python and the Holy Grail when I was like a kid. That dry British humor, but also like all that sci-fi. I'm really into Doctor Who. I haven't not caught up on the new episodes. Like, I'm not caught up on the new episodes, but I really like it, and they have like a lot of like the dry British humor is like really funny to me. So I feel like I get some of my like just goofiness from him, but also a little bit of the craziness from my mom. Not saying my mom's crazy; she would be a little crazy, but you know, her brain works in funny ways too. But like,
you have brothers and sisters too. You said
I do. I am the oldest. I have my brother. Steven, or he goes by Andy. Saying Steven sounded wrong. I don't like that, even though that's his name. He's always Andy, but he'll go by like Steven. And then my sister Emily, and they're both married. I actually have a nephew, Caius. He just turned 2. Aww. And then my brother's also married to a man. So it's him, Nico, and my sister, and Conan.
Oh, okay. Yep. And there, you said
all out in Colorado. So my brother and his husband Nico live in Denver, and then my sister and her husband Conan and my nephew Caius live in Colorado Springs, along with my parents who also live in Colorado Springs.
Yeah. And then they were in Chicago though?
Northwest Indiana, but yeah.
Or then all just moved out there.
But they like worked in Chicago. So like my mom was operating room nurse at the University of Chicago Hospital for like the longest time.
Oh, really?
She retired, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Urology department too.
That's
so
cool. Yeah.
So it was that, and then my dad worked at in IT for the longest time. Okay. At a community college in Cicero.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And they decided, well, everybody was out there, and they're just like, we're going to move out there. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, I'm not. I got the house. Like,
and you went east some more. But.
Yeah, I like Colorado. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just so expensive to live out there.
Is it? Yeah.
Denver's ridiculous. To the point where, like, my brother lives in the 5 Points area in Denver, and there's in his condo complex, like literally one of the condos is selling for $900,000, and I was like, hear me out. What if you guys move to Detroit and we just get a house in Indian Village, you know, and that way we can have like, I don't know, a mansion, and we all have a whole bunch of room for ourselves. Just a thought. Because it's like literally the same price.
Yeah.
If, you know.
Just give me some
This is it.
Get me away from people.
No, I totally get that. I know my brother always talks about doing like a commune or whatever. Basically like a compound. And I'm like, I'm not against it, but I don't know where you're going to do that in Colorado.
Yeah. I can understand Waco now.
Yeah, I know. I know. It's just like, I get it. Mm-hmm. It's like those people on what was that one Netflix documentary with the Russia?
Oh yeah.
Whatever. I can't remember what it was. I was like, they just kind of wanted to do their own thing. I'm like, I kind of get that, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. No. So that's, I don't know. That's just basically how it is, and you know, I just.
Now, this is your first time in Grand Rapids, too?
Second time.
Second time.
Second time. I brought my now ex-wife at the time here for her birthday, and we did like a whole cider tour.
Oh, okay.
But I haven't been.
Comedy-wise, though?
Comedy-wise, yes. It's my first time doing comedy.
Heck yeah.
But yeah.
You'll like the comedy project. It's really...
I'm very excited. Everybody
cool little venue.
Yeah. Everybody who is like knows that I'm doing it is like, you're gonna have a great time, like have fun. Also, it's wonderful. Like it's gonna be so fun. And I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, definitely.
So
got 3 bathrooms.
All right, I'm here for
amazing.
it. I'm here for it. It's fine. I mean, it can't be as bad. And the Independent's fine. It's just very grunge, so it can't be as bad.
Yeah, I kind of dig that though. I only was there one for like. It wasn't even the shit show. It was just.
Oh my gosh! I haven't been to a shit show in a minute.
I was so new. I thought it was just like you talk about shit for some reason. I thought it was like a special.
I can see that. So which is how I approach a shit show.
Yeah,
to be honest.
I got material here. Sign me up. But then they're like, no, just it's anytime. But
yeah. No, I get it. Oh, God. I love the shit show. That's the other thing, too, is I love that because I'm like, it'll go and it'll be a little raunchy. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, all the cool clubs I say is over there. But this one you're going to is the coolest.
Hell yeah.
On this side.
That's what I like to hear.
Heck yeah.
I'm very excited. I have a dog. His name's Jasper. He's an Old English sheepdog.
Well, you got to give me a picture, so I'll put the Jasper right here with the picture.
I will. He's a very good boy.
He does tricks or anything? Or?
Not really.
No.
He will give paw, he'll lay down, and he'll speak for a treat.
Speak for a treat?
But yeah. He's just he's a big fluffy boy. People are scared because they're like, he's a lot bigger than I thought he would be. Because like some people are really scared of big dogs, but he's not aggressive. He's just a herding breed, so he'll want to make sure everybody's together and everybody's seen. It's like the dog from The Little Mermaid.
Okay, yeah, I didn't see that, but
it's even like not just the remake or whatever, but even the cartoon or whatever too. So it's the same kind of dog. He's a little chicken shit sometimes too. Yeah, so like I know one of my friends just got a little dog, and I was like, if you want to introduce your little dog to a big dog, you can do that because Jasper's pretty chill. But like he's probably gonna be. He just doesn't like the yappiness of little dogs, which is fair. But no, he's just big chill dude.
What comedy aspirations do you have that you would say that okay, I feel I've really made it? What would it be like a specific venue? Like you're actually like
I love doing different venues.
Or someone in particular asked you to be, a guest show.
If I could do a guest spot or host for like someone of a bigger name, all the ones that I really love are like super, super big.
Let's get it out there.
Yeah, I don't know. I love Taylor Tomlinson, so she's one of my favorites. I watch Ali Wong all the time. Bo Burnham's also a very big inspiration of mine too.
YouTube.
Like from the YouTube days. I saw his like Make Happy tour before I even like did comedy or whatever, but like I still think about it, which is great. Also somebody out in Colorado, she's a bigger name, but like I hope if she ever comes to Michigan, because she's like, I do want to plan. I would love to open for her or host or literally anything, because like I wear her merch all the time too.
Get that name. Who?
Hannah Jones.
Hannah Jones.
And her Instagram is Hannah Jones Cool.
Hannah Jones Cool.
Yeah, is her Instagram handle. She's so fucking funny. Holy shit.
I'm gonna tag her and she's gonna have to sign you up. Hannah Jones?
Yeah.
Hannah Jones.
She's so funny.
Have her open up for you, Alice Duhon.
Come to Michigan. Yeah, because she does a lot of stuff. I just feel so bad because like comedy is so big on what's their name, and I'm just like, I don't remember their name all the time. I just remember their vibes sometimes, and I'm so sorry. I really am. No, and that's the thing too, is I feel like since I'm so green, I just don't know. I haven't done that like hardcore research at all yet too, which is why I feel like, because with theater they're like, you have to know these shows, you have to know this. So like I've done the history and the digging and the like in the dramaturgy and whatever for all of like the theater things, but for comedy that's why I was like, I feel like I have some imposter syndrome because I don't know all the history and I don't know all of that.
But I say that's not to cut you off.
No,
but I say it's almost good because you're not being influenced by anything. You're just doing your own thing. But.
Yeah. Like, and that's the whole thing is I'm just, like, trying to do my own thing, but, like, and it's good to learn from people, too. I don't know. And I also love, there's a lot of queer people. Fortune Feimster is, like, fucking hilarious to me.
She's going to be in Grand Rapids, I thought, this weekend.
Is she really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I put on Ali Wong's stuff when I'm sad, but there's other people of color who should open up for Ali Wong, but who are funnier than I. Kat Cohen. She's so funny. There's just like a lot of local people I really like too, and just like working with. And it's just, I feel like sometimes fame does not necessarily always equate to funny.
No.
It's just sometimes how you work and the cards and stuff you're dealt with as well.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, just keep going. Like every time I'm like, breaks are good. I do take a break. Every time I'm like, that's where I'll improv. Yes, and I'll do the next show. You want to do the show? Yes.
Yeah.
And I'll do the next one too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
But it's so addicting, and it's like, how can you turn it down if you know you can have the time off and do it? So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I would love to do sketch comedy again, I think, at some point. Because in the theater group we did a couple of sketch comedy stuff where I was like, oh, it'd be fun to do something so funny.
Yeah.
So eventually maybe I'll try
That's
to
what
do
they
some
do
sketch
down
comedy.
at the Comedy Project there, too. They do sketch as well as improv.
Nice.
And then they have Mondays, it's their open mic, pre-sign up, but Sean Francis, he runs open mic at first, and then they do improv and then sketches after them too, so that's kind of a cool show to sign up for, and because then you are right on that perfect stage there, and
might as well.
Heck yeah. But then watch other different stuff too.
Yeah, it is nice to like kind of have that balance and to not all have the same thing. I think that's why I still take dance classes and stuff too.
Oh, all right.
Yep. I know. I forget that I do that.
Then you can be on Dancing with the Stars. Well, that's where your next one after that when you become famous.
I will say, I know Chappelle's like, I liked his old stuff, and then I saw him open for John Mulaney at the Red Rocks, because he was also in Colorado Springs at the time, and it was just like, I was like, maybe he'll like, and that's when he was like, I want to be canceled for saying transphobic shit, and I'm like, okay. And I was like, well, maybe Dave Chappelle will apologize. Instead, he just tripled down and then asked somebody if they ever wanted to fuck their service dog. And I was like, all right, cool. It just did not do that way. But, well, I know Dave Chappelle has a bit where he's like, if I ever made it on Dancing with the Stars, I've like gone all the way downhill. And I'm like, I'm going to say I kind of agree with him on that, to be honest. Yeah. Also, I don't have the background with, like, couples dancing, but, like, back in the day, I did really fuck with So You Think You Can Dance. Mm-hmm. I love that one with the solos and duet. Oh, my God, I love that. That was always a lot of fun. But no, I forget that because, like, I'm literally working on a new comedy promo, and then I was like, oh, this month, because it'll be June, I should use one of my dance photos. And then everybody's like, oh my God, these photos are amazing. And it's so funny because we'll be there in dance class where it's like, it's so frustrating to take because the guy just doesn't want to be there. And like, well, because like there was one time he was like literally on his phone and he was like scrolling through it. And then he would just hit the shutter while like scrolling on his phone. I'm like, dude, if you don't want to be here, don't be here. Like, it is what it is. It's just frustrating because I also pay for those, and sometimes they're like I just reads as a little late. I'm like, you could just pay attention. Yeah. I don't feel like that's a lot to ask for. Yeah.
No.
But we have a lot of dance. I was going through a lot of dance photos because I was messaging my like group chat. I was like, hey guys, would you be upset if I used a group photo for my promo? And everybody's like, if someone wants to be my benefactor. I'm like, that's not how it would work, but like, sure. So I was like, because I don't know what I want to do yet, because there's a whole bunch of different costumes and stuff, and I won't have this year's dance photos until like after recital.
Now, what kind of dance are you doing?
I'm doing tap and musical theater.
Tap?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
That was actually one of the roast battle jokes where I lost because Andrew McFarlane was just like, Alice Duhon is an adult tap dancer. That's it. Like, and I was just like, yes. And like, I was waiting for the other shoe to drop and everyone's like, this is hilarious. And I was like, I don't see the joke. This is just my truth. Like, but no, we tap. I've been tapping for a while, but it's a group of us.
Hilarious.
We have a lot of fun.
That is hilarious.
It's so fun.
I imagine. But...
It is a lot of fun. I guess it is funny.
Yeah.
Tap, I guess, is a little fun.
You're not doing the tap where like like the Irish where they just
Oh, not
keep
Irish.
the arms. You know?
Oh no, that's Irish stuff. That's literally Irish dancing. But no, it's more rhythm based and like musical theater
So
based.
you are just like, who's that one famous?
Savion Glover.
No, I'm thinking even older, but
Gene Kelly.
Yeah, I was thinking yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Gene Kelly, all that fun stuff. I mean, I love singing in the rain. Yeah, I can.
You can do that.
I sure can. I can do the
man.
wings. I can shuffle.
Do you have any video of that? Because we had to put
I do.
that.
I do have. Okay, so last year's
That.
dance was two. We had two, but the more fun one was to. We did a tap dance to "It's Raining Men."
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and we have like all these like sequin green dresses, and we had our umbrellas, and it was a lot of fun.
Well, anything if you can get a tap dance video, that would make this
I will
video
send
really
that.
top notch. But
I will send that. I'm in the front. It is a lot of fun.
What was the other one? What was the other? Dance?
The other one was we did Mr. Sandman.
No, I mean style of dance.
Musical theater.
Musical was.
So it's kind of like a mix of jazz and, I mean, tap can be included, but it's not in like this class. Ballet elements to it. It's more, it's its own stylized dance.
Okay.
I guess you can like call it. Usually seen in a lot of like big dramatic shows.
Yeah,
It's
okay,
usually
yeah.
seen in a lot of
That's what it's called.
musical
I didn't know,
theater
yeah.
numbers, but yeah.
Musical theater dance. Right.
Yep. Yeah, I have a background in not just like those two, but like I've done ballet, point, lyrical, jazz, modern, taken a hip hop class or two. Like I do have a background in all that. I do have the triple threat status still, but I haven't used it in a while.
Breakdancing?
No, I cannot break
With the
dance.
backwards hat, you look like.
I mean, like I could probably
The Olympics,
give Ray
yeah.
Dunn a little bit of her money back. I could probably do some of those moves, but
I think I even could beat her.
I think the only like breakdance move I know is like I think it's called a coffee grinder, and it's like you swing your leg out and you're just jumping over it, and that's the only one I haven't done it in a while. But I still can do a cartwheel. I do a cartwheel in this upcoming dance recital.
Heck yeah.
So I was just like, oh, I'll do that, because they're like, I want it to be chaos, and you have 8 counts to do whatever you want. And I'm like, I'll do a grand jeté, and I'll do a leap, and I'll do a cartwheel, and I'll call it a day. This year's theme's Yaskar, because it's a queer studio. And I've had to explain it to people because they're like, what do you mean NASCAR? Because I'm like, it's just gay NASCAR.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah.
But it's all car themed because the owner basically wanted to traumatize me. I don't know. Chloe won't watch this. But like, no, it's just like, you know what? You all work in automotive. Let's make it about cars. Not really. I have no idea what the reasoning behind NASCAR as a theme was, but it's all doing car stuff. The songs that I'm dancing to are Route 66, that's a tap number. When I Drive, it's from Bonnie and Clyde, that's a musical theater number. Car Wash, that's a musical theater number. And I don't think it's from a show, I think it's just fun.
Yeah.
And then Brand New Key,
Okay.
which is, it's tap. It's tap. We're dressing up as really funny clown dolls.
Yeah. Now, do you have to like practice for a while and on?
My Mondays are usually consistent of me going to dance class.
Yeah. So.
Which is hard because like I want to do some comedy open mics and stuff, and they're just like, "Where are you on Monday?" And I'm like, "I literally have dance class, guys. Like, just wait until June, and then I'll be open." So, yeah, but it'll be fun.
Yeah, so I can imagine if you're trying to then add theater into it, or or a musical or something where you had to, oh man,
Yeah, exactly.
then stand up and then roast and all that.
Yeah,
other
yeah,
stuff.
exactly. It gets
Or
to be a
trying
lot.
Have thoughts of putting your own producing shows.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was just like, I gotta pick and choose what I really want to do.
Yeah.
So that's.
Well, it's
where
been
I'm
an
at.
honor that you took your time out to
No,
be on
please.
this little podcast here, but
I love doing podcasts. I see why a lot of guys do them. I really do. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm trying. Like I said, I didn't want to do podcasts where I'm talking about the news or anything. I said that's all like gets dated. I want to try and have a thing that's just all about the guests, just learning, you know, how
That's
their
nice.
secrets or whatever. And I thought that'd be
I don't think I
something
really
different.
have any secrets.
No, I mean,
Maybe
secrets
I do.
how,
Maybe I
secrets
do.
how to like writing secrets. Yeah, that's all. I mean. No, I don't want to find any secrets. If you want, keep them. I want, like I said, edit anything out that you ever wanted to. But.
No, you're fine. I don't think I talked about anything that I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, everyone says that, but I don't know if anyone's ever had a video that wasn't.
All of this stuff I've
Wasn't
always
me.
said to other people, so.
All right. Well,
Didn't reveal anything
I'm still gonna
brand new.
give you the permission to.
I appreciate it. Yeah. No, thanks for having me.
Yeah, because I can't wait
appreciate it.
to see where you're gonna go, and because I know
thank
you're
you.
gonna really be going definitely places.
Thank
You're
you.
already going places.
Thank you. That's so sweet. That's very kind. I just one day at a time.
Heck yeah.
One day at a time. That's all I can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then anything else you think you missed out, or
I don't think I have anything.
your handles?
Follow me on Instagram, Alice Marie Rose. I'm also on TikTok, also Alice Marie Rose. My Venmo is also Alice Marie Rose. Some people are doing that for Venmo as well.
Okay, I'll put that in a
But, yes, but I think that's more of a joke. But like, not really though. I don't have a job, so like at the moment, so like
No Cash App.
I do have a Cash App, but I don't really use it. I'm more of a Venmo girly. I don't know what that says about me, but I'm more just trying to build followers. I just hit over 1,000 Instagram followers last weekend, so I was very, very proud of myself.
You do YouTube?
I do not actually. No.
How about
You can follow me on Spotify, I guess. Someone was just like, they blocked me on Spotify, and I was like,
who did what?
Someone, I saw a TikTok recently where someone was just like, this person blocked me on all accounts, including Spotify, and I didn't even know they were following me on Spotify, and I'm like, that's where my music taste is. No, I'm just on basically Instagram and TikTok, and...
What would be your music taste?
Oh, fuck, I'm all over the place,
All right.
because I do like Jimmy, I have a Jimmy Buffett joke, but I generally do like Jimmy Buffett.
Okay.
I just went to a concert recently, which was Bridge City Sinners and The Devil Makes Three, and they're like dark, punky folk band. They're a lot of fun.
What was that again? Dark City Sinners?
Bridge City Sinners, and then The Devil Makes Three.
Devil Makes Three.
And then I have tickets to see The Wonder Years. They're doing an acoustic set. I'm very excited. This will be my third time seeing them. I love Rise Against. They're like my favorite band.
So you try to go to a lot of like concerts too, or you?
Sometimes, if the tickets are cheap enough, I'll go. I wanted to kind of go to. It'll depend. Riot Fest is the same year or the same dates as Motor City, so it'll depend on if I get into Motor City or not. But like Green Day and Rico Nasty is also at Riot Fest this year. There's a few people at Riot Fest where I was like, ooh, I could really want to go to that. But I'll do a lot of that, a lot of punk, a lot of like punk rock kind of vibes, and then was listening recreationally to musical theater on my way over here. So like I listen to a lot of shows in that way too. So I'm just I'm kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
Basically the only thing I don't really listen to is like country. And if it's country, it's usually more folky. It's usually more folky, more bluegrass.
Okay. Yeah. Like, do you try and write for you, I guess?
Yeah. No,
or
I definitely
you don't necessarily try and ever write for anybody. Like, okay,
no,
I'm
writing
gonna,
for myself.
Like, craft this to this particular audience. Besides, like,
I don't do for a particular audience. The only thing that I know off the bat, there's like topics I know I want to talk about, but I'm very in mind of like, I don't want the wrong kind of laughs. especially because of my ex-wife and her transition. There's a lot of, I feel like I have a lot of imposter syndrome or a lot of things in that way where I'm like, I don't feel like it's right to necessarily meet, because trans right now is just so like, with comedy they can be like, we can say a slur and it's funny, looking at you, Austin, but in general the comedies, that's from what I was told, and like I think there's just a lot of, I don't want it to come off as the wrong kind of laugh. And I do think about that a lot, but at the same time, I know something has to give with myself because that is my lived experience. And, like, other people might be mad, but, like, at the same time, like, that's not their lived experience, so...
that's just an interesting thing. I always try and think of, like, what's your freedom to, you know, be who you are, but then know
where the line is.
Or not even necessarily a line. It's just something. Example, like you say, you like puns. Or your love for puns. You know, some people don't like puns, or like they just hate that. They have to have more, you know, crap or whatever.
I don't like it constantly, but I do have like at least one pun in my set currently, and I like it because it takes her a while, because they're like, it sets it up where the audience doesn't know that a pun is actually coming, because it's like so story based, and I was like, oh, I didn't see it coming so soon, and they're just like, oh fuck, and I'm like, I know, I did it to myself. I was like, I know, I hated myself when I came up with that one too, but not really, but like also it is what it is. But I mean, I don't like them constantly, but also I just don't feel like every single pun deserves a laugh. I just think some deserve a boo.
That's what you're saying. I'm puns to boo at, you know.
It's true though. Like, some puns don't deserve a laugh. Like, sometimes it's so good you have to boo it, because like I don't know. It makes sense in my head, but
So would be like, would you try and craft things where you'd be looking for just to antagonize the crowd in a fun way like that? You know what I'm saying? Or like, I
haven't done too much of that yet, and I think that's where I feel like I can do a lot more work in like my writing style, because I think that's where I get a lot of, like, I don't know if I'm thinking about it too much with writing, where I'm like, if I think about it too hard, then I'm like, it's not funny at all. I'm just like thinking about it too hard. I'm not like putting words to paper, so I'm not really getting anything done.
Now, like, when you do put stuff to paper, would you go, okay, now this is what I want to do? Would you give it a test run out loud and stuff like that before you go, or you just go, okay, I
usually go to an open mic and just talk about it, and then
that'd be your first time that you're trying to, I have like,
see if anything kind of sticks, or they're like, huh, you got something, and I'm like, okay, and then I'll like try and perfect it from there.
Like, once you say it, it helps, but I'm not the person that's like writing and then saying it a bunch of times. You're going through, you know, trying to nail down perfect timing, and I can't
do that. There's too much with stand-up. There's too much give and take with the audience. There's too much of a lot of, like, you have to, as a comedian, I feel like you have to be able to read a room. And that's when I feel I've seen 1-2, especially in Denver. But, like, I've seen 1-2 comedians be really pissed because they're like, you don't think I'm funny and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, maybe if you learn how to fucking read a room, you'd be able to, like, adjust your set accordingly.
See, I don't like when people blame it on the crowd.
I can't fucking stand it.
I mean, it might be the crowd, but...
It could be, but, like,
just try a different angle. That's the whole... It's like a boxing match, and you're just gotta...
That's the whole point of the art, is to, like, okay, if that doesn't work, try it somewhere else. Like, try it a different way. Try a different approach. Just, like, make a different... like, that's the same thing with theater, where it's, like, with acting. Instead of, like, with acting, they're like, you always make a certain choice with acting. It's the same thing with comedy, but instead it's just the material. Okay, make a different choice. Or try it a different way. Or if, like... If it's really not working, try something really off the wall. Play with it, because if you're already going to go downhill, you might as well, like...
have fun with it,
Exactly. Have fun with it.
Then make something new out of that,
too. Because it's silly. It's not... Like, it's serious, but it's not, at the end of the day, it's not that serious.
But that's what I didn't realize. Just being too silly is like, oh, you're not serious now. I'm like, okay. So then I try to do that, and then, but
yeah,
you can never. But with crowds, I was gonna say, like, when you're saying something, like something might be working, and then these tags, like all of a sudden you're just throwing it that you would not normally do if they weren't going. Like, you go, okay, I better not throw these 3 tags in and go on to this other subject, and then work on.
Yeah, you just gotta play. That's the whole thing. I think that's the beauty of stand-up comedy is just like, yes, you have sets that you've ran and that you feel comfortable with, but like the whole idea of it is playing with the audience, is all in the play and in the delivery, and being able to watch that out in real time. And that's like, I think the beauty that aligns with like both theater and with stand-up is you can see that in real time. And make those. Just with acting, it's you're making choices specifically in a dissociative like character state, but with like stand-up you have a lot more room to like be yourself.
Have you thought about being more of a different character, or would you say you are a different?
No, I'm pretty much trying who I am, because I think that's the gift that stand-up comedy has given me, the going back to like that voice of being able to like see who I am both like off screen and on.
Okay.
And like there's certain topics in comedy that I don't talk about on stage. But
you wouldn't, or
there's one thing that I know that like that's like I helped a comedian find a certain doctor, not for like anything bad. Like she was just like, my doctor said I had to be 30 to get this procedure done, and I was like, no, you don't. Like, and we have the same procedures done, but I'm like, I don't want to talk about it because I feel that's a way for me to get assaulted off stage, just like not. Just because of like how I dress and how I come off, and I'm the levels of like being like a woman in comedy, and like how I look, I'm not necessarily used to that. Like I am proud of myself and I am confident about the way I look, but like I still feel very much sometimes like I'm that high school student that was like bullied, or like that middle school student that was like bullied and didn't have a ton of friends. Really? Like I've never felt like the cool kid until I was an adult.
Really? I would say
God, yeah, no, I was a theater kid. Like, I was a theater kid. I was, I was never, like, quote-unquote a cool kid until I, like, reached adulthood. And even then, I'm just like, how did I make these friends? Or how did I make all these connections? And it's just like, all my friends are like, because you're a cool person. I'm like, no, that's not it. Like, that's definitely not it. And they're just like, no, Alice. I was like, I'll talk about it in therapy, guys. It's fine. It's fine. I'll figure it out. Like, yeah. Oh, man. It is 6:00, so I should probably...
Yeah, you said you gotta change
and all
that too?
I probably gotta change, and if it's like 15 minutes away, I'll gotta make sure. I think my call time's at 6:30, but if you don't mind stopping. But...
Yes, definitely. Like I said, I appreciate it. It was an honor to have you over here, and good luck tonight.
For having me.
No, thank you.
No, please. I appreciate it. It's so fun. I feel like I can yap forever. That's why I was like, oh, I better stop myself before I get into a whole other